Most people think they would notice if their wealth was disappearing. They imagine alarms, warnings, a clear moment when everything breaks. That moment almost never comes, because inflation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't crash your life. It slowly edits it. And by the time people feel something is wrong, the damage is already done. As long as life looks normal, people assume the system is stable. You still get paid. Stores are still open. Money still moves. Nothing feels urgent. That's the trap. Inflation doesn't need panic to work. It only needs time. Inflation doesn't destroy wealth by force. It destroys it by distance. Distance between effort and reward. Between numbers and reality. Your salary feels familiar. Your savings look unchanged. But what those numbers can do is quietly shrinking. There is no single day you can point to and say, "This is when it happened." It happens everywhere and nowhere. Human attention is wired for shock. We notice explosions. We ignore erosion. If something breaks suddenly, we respond. If it weakens gradually, we adapt. And inflation is designed for adaptation, not intentionally, but perfectly. Inflation is not equal. It rewards speed. It punishes stillness. People with assets can adjust. People with leverage can shift. But people whose income is fixed carry the loss quietly. They don't collapse. They don't revolt. They tighten their lives instead. A little less comfort, a little less security, a little less future. Sudden inflation creates resistance. Quiet inflation creates acceptance. When prices rise slowly, no single decision can be blamed. No single institution can be confronted. Responsibility dissolves. People feel poorer, but they can't name the cause. And uncertainty keeps anger unfocused. That is why quiet inflation lasts longer. Here's the part most people miss. The most dangerous phase of inflation is not the beginning. It's when people stop noticing it. The middle phase feels manageable. That's what makes it dangerous. People adjust budgets. They delay plans. They lower expectations. They tell themselves this is responsible behavior. And on the surface, it is. But this is also the moment when wealth erodes the fastest, because adjustment hides loss. At first, the changes feel small. You stop buying certain things. You postpone decisions. You accept compromises that once felt temporary. Nothing breaks. Life continues. And that continuity creates the illusion that nothing fundamental is happening. But something is. Inflation doesn't remove options immediately. It narrows them. Choice by choice. Decision by decision. Until one day, the future you assumed was still available no longer fits inside your numbers. Not because you failed, but because the scale quietly shifted. This is why inflation is so rarely resisted. People don't fight what they can still manage. They adapt to it. And adaptation feels like control. But it isn't. It's surrender disguised as stability. Across history, wealth has rarely vanished in dramatic collapse. It disappears through dilution. Money continues to exist. Institutions remain in place. Systems keep functioning. Only the meaning changes. The numbers stay the same. What those numbers can do does not. This is the part most people misunderstand. Inflation doesn't target savings directly. It targets time. The longer money stands still, the more it loses relevance. And time is the one resource most people cannot accelerate. Inflation rewards motion. Assets move. Prices move. Debt adjusts. But wages and savings move slowly. And what moves slow loses ground. Not because it is wrong, but because it is late. This creates a quiet divide, not between rich and poor, but between those who can reposition and those who must endure. The loss doesn't look like collapse. It looks like exclusion. Inflation doesn't announce itself as destruction. It presents itself as normality. Work continues. Money circulates. Transactions still happen. Nothing signals emergency. And that absence of alarm is exactly why it lasts. Over time, something subtle changes. People stop planning long-term. They shorten their horizon. What once felt like a future starts feeling like a risk. And when a society stops thinking forward, it becomes fragile. Eventually, the realization arrives. Not suddenly, not dramatically, quietly. You didn't lose everything at once. You lost it gradually, through patience, through adjustment, through waiting. Inflation doesn't erase wealth by stealing it. It erases it by outpacing it. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. And that is why it is always underestimated. History doesn't repeat, but it leaves patterns. The people who recognize them early don't panic. They reposition.